Welcome back to Wickerson Studios. Very excited to finish up this first part of 10 of the Numpy into Grasshopper, looking at AI Copilot to AI Stable Diffusion. We'll get to Stable Diffusion near the end of the series, but this is the first set and I'm going to release it today. So I know some people have been waiting for it, a couple of dozen people, and I'm very excited to have it neatened up. So we're going to jump right into here. I think everything's loaded. And what we're going to do is what I promised. Let me just prepare up my window. And we're going to talk a little bit about let me see where I was. I think it was I think it was dipping into it. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we just want to jump into here. Sorry for this delay. And we want to talk a little bit about array shapes, which will require, I believe, some strings, hop strings, and we want to talk about some array data types. So you're going to move outside of those other things that we had. So we left this last data visualization, which I generated on the last example file, which is just playful and fairly simple. But let's leave that kind of front end rendering before Stable Diffusion, and let's get back into Copilot and see what we can do here by closing out and see if this will not revisit what we typed in up here and didn't get around to, which was data shape and data type. And this will lead us into the next section. You'll realize this information is going to be pretty important for processing NumPy arrays that get more and more complex. I think we're going to want to borrow something like this from above. So I'm going to copy that, paste it, and give it a second to load. I'm going to bring this down here and bring it a little lower. And we're going to talk a little bit about the shape of a 3D array object. We don't require this right now. We'll change the call, and I think we can just jump in here of a n-dimensional array object. So NumPy array, we want to do shape of a n-dimensional array. You could say object if you want, but that's enough to get us started. And we're going to prime this and prompt it with the shape being, let's see what I did in the last one. Mind you, I am still cleaning up things, but find the shape of a NumPy array. Let's just say 3. Well, we'll just do of a NumPy array from 3 lists. And even though it's pretty small data to start, we're going to wrap that into a GH component. Let's see what it produces. And NumPy shape, shape name, description, find the shape of a NumPy array, inputs. Let's bring it in as a list, and let's bring in 3 lists, 1, 2, 3 to produce the array. That sounds pretty good. And our outputs are going to be a hops array value, but I want to break that into lists, 1, and actually I want to be very careful with this. I want to bring it in 1, 2, oh, that's the type. But before I get into the type, I want the hops number. And we're going to go all the way around shape. We're going to do array 1 and see if that will do list. And this is so we can break those arrays into really what arrays are, which are lists, but they can be more complex, obviously, in NumPy. And we want that shape, which will be a hops string, I believe. So this is where it gets a little interesting because it comes out as a tuple, and I think you have to solve it with a string. So let's try that. Let's get rid of that, and I think we'll have success. Oh, string. Okay, hop string. I think we're good. That will end. That will close the outputs. We're going to run a script that's going to be array, which are basically those lists. It's going to write something that's all of those, and let me see if it matches sort of what I was doing. I'm still creating lists, and I was using for loops. I don't want to do that in this series. I want to clean it up. Array from the type. We are simply finding the array shape as type. We'll see that down here in this window, and just so we can see what we're doing, we're going to clear this, which is good practice, and we're going to output the array shape. And we're also going to output the list as 3 sections. And this is a little different what I did in the last one, but let's see if it up and runs. Let's save. And if we have some problems, I'm not going to reset. I'm just going to problem solve and see what happens. So here we go. We're into here with these 3. Obviously, it's going to be 3 by 3, but let's see what kind of data it runs out for us. So let's copy that IP. Let's bring down our hops node. Let's double click and pop it in there, / call our function name, numpy shape, and put it in here and see if that worked. Now it should produce a shape out, so we should be able to pop in our array. It will give us that data back out. Oh, but we have a problem. The shape AR2, 012, and AR shape. What did I do differently? Let me take a look at this and we'll try and figure out this problem. No attribute shape. Okay, so it's trying to do, yes, trying to find an attribute of the array. This doesn't exist. Let's see what I did. Let's delete this one. And the best sample to do is like get up here and do a / as you're trying to debug. And this is always good to go through because you got to figure out what's happening. O2, I think everything's nearly right, except if I revisit this, I have an array. I should probably give the shape array what this is. So array shape doesn't have that attribute. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to have that array type printed. And what I'm going to do after that is I'm actually going to create a shape array and define it as array. Oh, that should be that should actually work. And then the shape array to list, we don't really, well, we do need to turn that to a list here, here, here. Let's see if we can't put in shape array as an output. Doesn't really make me feel any more confident than where it was, but it seemed to work in my last script. So let me try that. I'm not sure why there's a little bug there. We definitely have to leave to save. If this doesn't work, I may have to take a break and start over the video, but let's just clear it again. Let's see if we, and I find debugging, it's always good to give it a new name and a new call name so you don't get stuck on last stuff that was memorized. Let's try it again. Run it in here. Copy. Want to output a string, so whatever it is, a tuple or whatnot, we can always do some fancy footwork with it later. Copy forward. Let's grab the shape 2 because that's my second test. It's not great for an app to have that, so let's go 1, 2, 3, and it worked. So we should be able to output, 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 and there is our numbers coming through without any processing, but it's working as an array, and we're bringing it into a list. And then shape has done something down here. Let's see what it gives us. I really can't remember. And there it is. It's 3 by 3, but it's giving you as numbers. It's actually putting it into a list. So you actually have a 3 by 3 array. So you just have to remember what that is that's a shape coming out, because you might want to use that data as rows and columns later on, and you have it listed as a list. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let me just see if I go back. Yeah, I output it as a list, so that's exactly what it's doing. So I'm happy enough with that. I'm going to double click here. I found my problem. I actually need a variable for it, so I could reference that. I'm going to save that. I'm going to right click here, give it that name. It shows that I still had trouble swapping it over, so you might want to clean it up that you don't need the call name 02. But since that's what I have in here, I'm not going to change it back to shape because you do have some debugging problems with hops. I found that's a quick cure for people that are having troubles. And then we're going to go into here and we're going to grab the numpy shape 2 and numpy shape 2 call, which is what it is. And now you're starting to find out what is important for working with arrays and what kind of data can come out. That is one, and I'm going to finish this video with the next one. I'm going to grab all this stuff, I'm going to copy it down here. I am going to deal with data type of an array. And so when I copy it down, I'm just going to take that. I do not need that. This will be the data type, which is important to know by far, especially before getting to the pandas. This is going to really have a role to what you do. And let me see what I called it. I think I typed in the full data type of array, and that's it. And let's see if we can't have that write itself in. Take this off, do your little clear, so you got a little room down here to think. If you're a terminal person, which I never thought I'd ever be, and we're going to find the data type of an array object from 3 lists, because that's what we want to do. And obviously it's trying to write that in the code. So IntelliSense, or whatever you want to call it, certainly not just Copilot. And so we're going to write this off, and here we go. Tab enter, tab enter. We probably are not going to screw this one up, hopefully. Give it a better name so you don't have to get into that. I hate it when this assistant comes up, and what can I complain about? I certainly need the name. description, inputs, number, array by list should work. I'm going to do it exactly the same way, data in, data out. And we're going to do all this before we get into creating NumPy arrays again, and we're going to revisit dimensions and a whole bunch of wonderful things that are more particular to it. So just bear with me on this. We are going to run in our 3 lists, 2, 3, 1Py array. Well, that's nice as saying it's a 1D array. However, yeah, those are inputs. I'm going to output my array as those arrays, smaller arrays, which are lists 1, 2, 3. And I think this is going to be a string again, and that'll be our data type. DT would be enough if we just come out as data type, but I think that's all right. Close it off. GitHub will do it for us because so many people have done it before us. Let's see if it pops in really nice. Same thing. We have to call it a data type array. We're going to call that data type and we're going to run through the list. I'm very confident in this one, and we're going to finish this. And what we're going to do is we are going to, you can do whatever you want to make this fancy footwork, but I'll let you figure it out on your own. Jose Luis Garcia is incredible in parametric camp because he teaches you all the ins and outs of everything he does, but we're going to get into creating NumPy arrays as the next series. But let's finish this one off and make sure it's working. And then we're going to publish this, and I guess I'm going to sell it for a couple of bucks and get people intrigued, because I don't know what kind of nut out there is turning NumPy and pandas into Grasshopper visuals documentation. Well, it's people like me, because I'm coming back from a maker for 30 years, coming through visual node scripting, bringing these models back into learning coding, which is what I should have started with as a pure mathematician, but I was an artist first, and I certainly was an artist first for a couple of decades, if not 4 decades. I don't know. I don't even know how old I am now. But I know my first show, I was 12 years old at the London Regional Gallery in Ontario. And that was exciting. And I still remember my art teacher, Miss Morgan, gave me the show. So let's jump in here. Let's grab this little node. Let's throw in our little IP. Let's grab our title, which we called NumPy data type, which is going to come into play later. We're outputting as strings, except I didn't mean to do that. I meant to copy it. And we're going to outpoint as string. And bamf, we should have our data type. The same thing, this data should process. You got to have all your inputs for it to work. And what happened? Oh my goodness. What happened? Data type array. And of course we're going to have a problem because I was way too confident. Data type array. We are going to convert the data type to a string before doing it. So I caught this last time and I missed it this time, which means even though I was confident, I must go into another form here. This is only one way of solving it. You probably could find an alternative, 0, 2. And what I'm going to do with this when I come through and define it, I'm going to actually typeset that to string and make it a string. So no matter what it was, that data type is going to come out as a string, force it, and then I should be able to do this again. So let's just for consistency, clear. Oh, that was cheer. Let's clear. And let's run this again, save, and hopefully I didn't miss another bug. But since I'm excited to end this, no doubt I'm going to screw it up a couple more times before I'm done. And you just have to solve your problems by simplifying them. It's one thing I've learned. I have not done a lot of learning outside of online. I did not go to school for this after about 1992. And I'm pretty happy that I can problem solve like so many of my students at an undergraduate college to figure this out. Hopefully we get lucky here. I'm sure I'll get a little red. You never know. Solved it. Boom, boom, boom. Data types, and you got a float. 64 is what it is. And that's exactly what it's coming out as. So that makes sense. That's what the data type should be. And that's what we're dealing with while we're in here. Solved. We are going into creating ND arrays again after this series. I'm going to save this. I'm taking this entire series with these 2 examples of data visualizations, even though there's 4 here. I've worked them in. This will be available as AI Copilot to AI Stable Diffusion 001. It will come with 450 lines of script for you. It began with this topic of NumPy basics. We then follow down through and send it right into, if I can grab this little thing, we're going to send it into all of these scripts to get it up and running, and you will be ready to go so long as things are live. Keep in mind there'll be instructions with this of having to reload nodes that aren't running because your server's out of order. You have to get your Anaconda, you have to get your hops component, you have to get the dependencies. Watch this series through, watch it through fast, remember key points, and hopefully this is my first course that's decent that people will take. This is one of at least 6 parts, probably 10, could even be 12 if I do advanced NumPy. I'm so excited to have done this. I think after 3-4 years of study, making thousands of videos and making thousands of scripts, I'm going to really fine tune to what this is. So I thank you very much for watching. I hope everybody takes interest in this that has interest in what I do. I'm going to stop recording and I'm going to put this up and start advertising this. And I'll be doing this, hopefully cranking out one a week. And I'll keep the prices as low as I can to see if I can't sell the whole bundle in the end for under, whatever I am selling all my bundles for is like as cheap as I possibly can. So thanks very much for watching. Those interested in NumPy with Grasshopper using AI to AI, and I'll show some sample renders and stable diffusion renders when I'm done as well. Stop recording.